Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on the Mid-South Wrestling Center podcast. Welcome to episode 2. Our guest today is a very dear friend of mine. His pro wrestling career spans over 23 years. He has worked everywhere from Michigan to Oklahoma to Florida to Pennsylvania and everywhere in between. Um, he is a tag team specialist. He trained in Canada earlier on in his career. Uh, I've known this guy for over 8 years. I've seen him on a personal level, on a business level, and there's no, you know, he he is a great person on both levels. He helps the boys as much as he can. He has a lot of fingerprints on a lot of stuff in the backstage area, whether it was in the ring, outside the ring, and that would be the trendsetter, Jon Michael. We're going to bring Jon on here in just a minute. Uh, he's just kind of trying to get himself set up. But I just wanted to take this time, give you guys a little background on Jon Michael before we brought him on. Uh, Maybe try and get some views on this too. Get some maybe a comment or two going. I just wanted to, like I said, just want to make sure that we aren't lagging or anything like that either. Also, you know, I just signed a brand new sponsor for the Mid South Wrestling Center podcast this week. We're going to go over that about at the halfway mark. Like I said, I'm just waiting on Jon Michael to get himself set up. But I hope everybody's having a great day today. I think this is going to be a great episode. Also, don't forget every Sunday at 2 p.m. we are going to have a new guest on the Mid South Wrestling Center podcast. Next Sunday we will have Naughty by Nature's Poker Face. I'm very excited about that one as well. I've known Poker Face for the entirety of my professional wrestling career. You know. We also have for episode 4, I believe, is none other than Mr. Charisma, Alvin Minnick. Alvin, he has been in the business for many years. He's a veteran of the business, and we're going to be talking to him about, transitioning from being a military man to professional wrestler to comic book fanatic. Then for episode 5, we are supposed to I know he's supposed to be my co-host on this, but he messaged me today and said he's having internet problems, so he won't be co-hosting today. But Blaze Ray is our episode 5 guest. Very excited about that one as well. I've known Blaze Ray for a very long time as well, approximately probably 5 or 6 years. And then for episode 6, it's a very special close friend of mine as well. He has a long running history with former WWE superstar Rodney Mack and former WWE Women's Champion Jazz. It's none other than Professor P. Very excited for the next up and coming episodes. Like I said, we're just kind of waiting on Jon Michael to get himself settled out. Hopefully everybody has either watched or was able to check out last week's, our debut episode with Downtown Bruno and Greg, the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony. it was a great episode. I speak to Downtown Bruno almost on a regular basis. He absolutely was ecstatic all the way up to that point, and then he was happy with how it turned out. He was glad to interact with everybody that commented and had comments and questions and all that kind of good stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Jon Michael is slowly getting himself settled in. We'll be bringing him on here in just a minute. Let's see if he's ready to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome at this time to the Mid-South Wrestling Center podcast. It's none other than the Trendsetter, Jon Michael. Jon, you are live, my friend. Are you there, Jon? Because I don't know if you're frozen or not.
Must have been a glitch. I'm here.
Okay.
Worry about that thing. It wasn't working right.
No. Well, you're live, buddy. We're live on the Mid-South Wrestling Center podcast. It's on YouTube. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. I kind of gave him a little background on you, stuff like that. We're putting over some of the future episodes as well, putting over last week's episode.
I watched Bruno and Greg as much of it as I could last week.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
Oh yeah. It turned out pretty good. Like I was telling the people, Bruno, we tried to speak to Bruno on a regular basis. So it's he was happy with it. He was ecstatic to do it. He was happy with how it turned out as well.
Right.
We're probably going to try and get him on as a singles guest in the future. I was just telling him about,
Bruno could be his own topic. Probably 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of history.
Dipping on air, right?
That's fine. That's not like I was just trying to tell you, early. Usually, Bruno, usually podcasts, are in the evening time, and Bruno, he likes to get settled, all that kind of stuff. Is he's always drinking beer and eating chicken wings. So, I don't,
Anytime I hear chicken wings, I automatically think of Bobby Eaton every time we be on the road. We're stopping there. They got good chicken there, boys. Good chicken. That's all I can think of every time I hear
that. Yeah. Of course, we brought up Bobby Eaton last week with Greg Anthony because that was his tag partner for 2 years.
Right. Yeah. But Bobby was special. Yeah. Bobby was like, whether he was tagging with, it didn't matter if he was tagging with you. He knew you for 20 years. The first time he met you, it was walk up to the person. Hey, how you doing? Oh, your dad's here today. Let me go say hey to your dad.
Yeah.
First time you ever met somebody who'd walk over and say hey to their dad. It's just kind of type of person Bobby was. And I think Greg, maybe it was last week, I kind of missed Bobby and Tracy and some of the guys,
Yeah. Sadly, I was never able to meet Bobby Eaton face to face. Tracy Smothers did, of course. I got to meet him a couple times. Tracy Smothers was just, he was stand up, nice guy, help anybody.
Yeah.
Same thing I hear about Bobby Eaton. Well, brother, you ready to get in these topics?
Yeah. Well,
a bunch of topics we got to go.
I'll either answer or I'll just act like I glitched again.
Okay. So whatever you want to do, brother. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. So first thing is your debut. Like what? I know I talked to Greg last week a little bit about you. You and him grew up together.
Yeah.
You guys, I don't know. Was it started in elementary school, middle school, high school? Which one was it?
Well, I mean, I can only assume that Greg was the same way as I was because he was probably doing the same stuff I was doing. We just didn't know each other just yet as far as wrestling goes.
Yeah.
But we were playing basketball together, but neither one of us knew that we were huge wrestling fans.
Yeah.
So we just both knew that we were Chicago Bulls fans. So we linked up on that and played basketball. But once we found out each other were big wrestling fans, it was like, how big a wrestling fan are you? You
Yeah.
know, then I go hang out with Greg at his house. He's got a list of characters he's made up and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, well, I got the same thing, like the exact same thing going on here.
Yeah.
So we linked up, and we, as much as people downplay it, we got some other buddies of ours, and we were, as you would call it, I guess, backyard wrestling or whatever. But we were actually like really detailed with some of it. But uh, then from there, like I was 16, and I guess I was a tall enough, decent looking enough kid to where I could like pass as 18 or 19 years old. So
Yeah.
um, I started talking to different people that were already wrestling, and my dad was a police officer in New Bern, and WWE had their developmental from Memphis coming here at the National Guard, Terry Golden, and my dad got in touch with him and said, "Look, my brother's, I mean, my son is trying to, everything he can to get into this. Like, he's not too bad already, but he needs to know, what he's doing. But he does want to do something. Is
Yeah.
there any way he can get with you guys and you can help him out?" So Terry allowed us to sell tickets for him for that month leading up to the show, and then we were able to have what they call an intermission match.
Yeah.
Which, if you go by intermission match, it's an intermission match. But if you go by how I always preach by the flow of the card, right?
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
were semi main event for the
Okay.
MCW, right?
Yeah.
But and that can be taken two ways. Hey, your intermission match, semi main event. We don't know what we're throwing out there, so this could be our breather for the main event. So when they see the
Yeah.
main event pops, right?
Yeah. It popped. Yeah.
But but to us, it didn't matter. We
Yeah.
were on we were on an actual, not we weren't on a backyard home promotion that we were already kind of doing. We were on an actual show,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
WWE regulated show. So to
Hmm.
us, it was like, well, we don't even care what it's called. We just want to have our match, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Meg said he had some people come, talk to him and stuff. And I do remember Reckless Youth, way underrated, by the way.
Hmm.
I don't understand. Two guys I've never understood how you couldn't have a spot or figure out at least a managerial spot or a heater that just feeds in and takes bumps for the bigger guys or something.
Yeah.
Reckless Youth and Steve Bradley. Those two, I don't have a clue how those two guys didn't have actual job like up top somewhere. Anyways, those two
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, York and Matthews talked to me, and then Regal came to me and gave me a couple of things about kicking out and using my legs more in the
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
And I do remember a funny story, which is actually kind of cool, because we mentioned Bobby and Tracy earlier. I guess that night Bobby and Tracy had ridden together.
Okay.
So we're we're me and Anthony are having to get dressed in this other room. We're not actually in the locker room with the main guys, right?
Yeah.
We're in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
room where, you know, it could be mistaken for an entrance for the wrestlers, right? So Bobby and Tracy, I remember went in there to where we were getting dressed, and Bobby and Tracy were trying to figure out what door to go in. And we had our door open. I looked over and I see Bobby and Tracy, and Tracy jokingly tells Bobby, "Hey, hey, kid, get my bag." Well, all I hear is "kid," so I think he's talking to me, way, way, way. And I just walk up out of nowhere and grab Tracy's bag
Mhm.
and walking with it. And Tracy goes, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I thought you told me to get your bag, sir." And he's like, "Well, by all means, yes, sir, get my bag." So I was like, "Oh, I did something good." So
Huh? Yeah.
they came in through our area and then went around or whatever.
Okay.
It's kind of cool looking back on it. Me and Greg really didn't. We kind of thought we wanted to know what psychology was, but we really didn't know. We
Yeah.
just big move, kick out. Go to something else that's on the mat, and then get back up and do something else. But we had decent reviews, and they allowed us. Or I know I did. I did 2 or 3 of those, and kept in contact with Terry. But
Yeah.
the MCW thing fell through and turned into. It still was MCW, but they were doing Arkansas shows after that. So by
Okay.
that, though, me and Greg both were just doing any shows we could get our hands on.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
but it was really cool. For me, I was only 16, or I don't know. I don't remember if I was 16 or 17 at that point, but I'm doing a show that at first was only having 20, 30 people there. And just because we got some local guys selling some tickets, we show up and we're technically semi-main event in an intermission match. And we
Yeah.
got the town there behind us. So
Hmm.
it actually sounds like we're doing something good.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that, and you're looking at 20 something more years later, and me and Greg are still, you know,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I've seen it firsthand.
he might not say I'm his best friend, but from the things he's contributed to me, and been there for me, or answer my call on certain things, like I
Yeah.
can one of my best friends.
Oh, trust me, he does. He does. We were
Yeah.
talking about you, last week whenever he was on, and yeah, yeah, yeah. He, called you,
Well,
yeah.
and I'll say this: loyalty is very hard to find in this business.
Oh yeah.
Even even if it's loose loyalty, what I call loose
Yeah.
loyalty is I'm loyal to what I'm doing,
Yeah.
right? And if I'm doing something, I'm going to put my passion into it.
Oh yeah.
There is no I'll be there. Okay, whatever. Yeah, you guys had a good match. Should have did this, and then go home. Like you've seen me in the back.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you should have did this, but I told you to do this, and you did what I told you, but you didn't do any of the other stuff before. So,
Yeah.
and you've seen me actually sit there and break down every single step.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
do I can't do 10%. I have to do 110% whenever I'm putting stuff together for people. It can be a flaw sometimes, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, like I
That's
was
okay.
telling the people whenever I was introducing you, you got your fingerprints on a lot of things. You've had your fingerprints on a lot of things in professional wrestling, and like I said, you help everybody. You helped me whenever I first started with Pro Wrestling Mid South, NWA Mid South, whatever we want to call it. And whether it be, I was just a lonely sound guy.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I think this hat is really cutting me off.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I need to take this hat off so like it looks like, you know what I'm saying, like the lighting
yeah,
is right. So I need to take this hat off so I look normal.
yeah. You're kind of looking like Zorro right now with this shadow.
Kind of weird. Hang on. Let me get this hat off. Hang on. It's stuck in my hair. It's stuck in my hair, Cody.
I was about to say Jenny, it look like you just got yourself a haircut too.
I know. I don't know. I'm a hat guy. You know me. I can't help it.
Oh yeah,
So let me get my hair. I got the hat
like I
off.
said, yeah, like I said, I mean, we've known each other for 8 years now.
Yeah. So I got that hat off. This should be better for lighting.
Yeah,
What were you gonna say?
yeah. This
What
is,
were you saying about details and what I
nice hat, brother.
oh, it's just my house hat.
Oh, house hat. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Then. So the one thing I did want to bring up, I forgot to ask Greg about it last week, and he tells a story. Excuse me. It seems like I'm trying to get sick on.
You're getting sick. I'm trying to get over getting sick.
Yeah,
So
you're
we're
trying to get over it, and I'm getting sick. Um, Greg's always told the story whenever you two were in high school I think it was either like during gym class or something like that, and like you
Ba-
climbed.
It's basketball. Go ahead.
Yeah, you climbed the bleachers, and like you
It's
were
like
like up
25
top,
feet
and
up.
it looked great.
It's like 25 feet up.
Yeah. So tell us that story because I've only heard Greg's side of it. You're the main guy in this story.
Oh my God, it's the best and the worst for me at the same time.
Yeah.
So me and Greg, so we had these practices where we really weren't supposed, like, I guess technically by the year's end we weren't supposed to be practicing, like organized practicing,
Yeah.
but it was part of our block on our I don't know what it's called, the your student, 4 classes a day block or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
part of our block, basketball was a part of that. So um, we were down there, and what they would do is they would let people work on shots. They would let people work in the gym area, and they would let people do one-on-one games and just kind of do what you wanted to do as far as working on your skills. Me and Greg were playing each other. Uh, I don't really even remember who's winning. If it's his story, he'll tell you he's beating me pretty bad or something like that. But I don't know. It could be tied.
It could, yeah.
Let's just say it's tied for time's sake here. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow or another, we get a shot that goes up, and we both go for a rebound or something like that, and the ball gets slammed down from the rebound from the goal, and it bounces all the way up on top of the
Mhm.
bleachers. These are those bleachers that retract
Yeah.
and come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I had some of those in my high school.
So there's that, and then there's a rail. How ours was set up was a big rail,
Yeah.
and the ball bounced up and landed on the top rung of the bleachers that was inside there.
Hmm.
And I go up to get the ball, and usually we just, we go get the ball, throw it down, or get it, come back down the stairs, come back, keep playing. I get the ball, I throw it down, and I'm standing up there looking, and the only thing in my head is I don't know what it is in my brain, but my brain just went straight to Monday Nitro, to where Macho Man is standing on the top rope and the crowd is just looking at him, waiting,
Yeah. Yeah.
waiting. So I throw the ball down, and I'm like, obviously there's nobody there cheering me on.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. But in my brain,
Yeah.
I look over and I'm like, this is it, right? And then
Yeah.
after I look over, I look down at Greg, and I guess he's just automatically in the same exact moment. He looks at me, he goes, "Do it,"
Yeah.
and we
Just
had,
do it.
and I'm like, and I come off 25 feet up, fucking, I hit him with it, bam, double X handle, and
Yeah.
like my knees give out. I did the whole Macho Man knees give out, slide on my knees, get up, boom. He
Yeah.
takes the bump. He's getting up. We're both getting up. We're grabbing the ball. As we're grabbing the ball, our assistant coach comes over, and he's livid. He comes over, he's like, "What are you guys doing? What, what the hell are y'all doing? You're supposed to be, what was that?" And without missing a beat, like, I mean, while he's asking us what we're doing, without missing a beat, I cut him off and said, "Macho Man double X handle." Like, how
Yeah.
do you not know? I'm doing
Yeah. Yeah.
double X handle off the top, brother.
Yeah. This is one of those things.
I'm
I,
16.
I I really hate to see what his response to that was, though.
I'm 16 years old answering an
Mm.
adult like, why? I would have benched
Even
me.
back then, you were dedicated to the business.
Yeah, I would have been
Yeah.
benched for the year.
Yeah.
No pay for this kid.
Yeah. 16-year-old and already dedicated to the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. But well, I guess we can go on to the next topic. Next topic on the agenda is you got to train in Canada earlier on in your career. So tell us how that come about.
So it kind of goes back to the original story of me and Greg doing some of the Terry Golden shows.
Yeah.
I think the second one I did, Jimmy Hart came over and Jimmy was kind of going over some stuff, and he was talking about Lance Cade and Tracy Smothers, and he was talking to me saying, you know, and get a little size on you and get some proper training, you would fit in something like that,
Yeah.
uh, and I'm young. I don't know what he meant by proper training. So I was like, what do you mean proper training? Like exactly what do I need to do? He's like, get somebody with name validation and go train.
Hmm.
At least that way, you got your basics and there's a name attached to it and you can. So I immediately went home and started, you know, getting on the internet. Back then, it wasn't like it is now. Like you can't just type in something and it brings up all of them. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like. But I did search for a while and I came across the Hart Brothers School of Wrestling in Ontario, Canada. It was in
Hmm.
Cambridge, and I sent a application in, and about I didn't think nothing of it. I just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and just because at the time there really wasn't. There was places to train, but there really wasn't like full on schools like there are now.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
It was like, hey, we got a show here. We're going to train before the show. Hey, we got a show here. We're going to train before the show. We're going to do training on this day. Something happened there?
Yeah, it's probably your internet or connection or something like that. You good with us? You still here with us?
Something's happening. You there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you're back.
Let me touch my screen and just kind of make sure it's not something that's going on
Yeah,
my
you're
phone.
back. Yeah, you're
Okay.
back.
Um. So about 2 days later, I got an email back saying I was accepted. So I got with my dad, biggest supporter. My dad, big. I mean,
Oh
number
yeah.
one. I'm gonna say this, like number one fan, like,
Yeah.
and not as a fan, but we still talk to this day about stuff I can do and how I can do it, and managing
Hmm.
and that kind of stuff. I'm not done yet
Oh
because
yeah.
I got too much in my brain
Hmm.
for be done just because I can't have matches. But anyways, I got on a flight and flew to Canada. First time I ever driven or did anything out of state was all the way in another country. So
Yeah.
I went there and um, our training while I was there anyhow was every day of the week, uh, except Sundays.
Yeah.
Uh, but I was already in for every day of the week. So on Sundays I would go. Saturday night I would study film, and then I would go in there on Sundays and try out some of the stuff that I saw on film. AWA was a big thing that I was watching at that time while I was up there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was that I was watching it on, classics or ESPN classics or something like that. But I definitely had access to all the AWA stuff for some reason.
Yeah.
So I was going in and just doing rolls and bumps and different stuff on Sundays on my own, from stuff I had watched. Um, but you're talking about, here we have one, if you're lucky, 2 days of training a week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're doing 6 to 7 days of training. So it's, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you got
Yeah.
to learn. You don't have a second. Like
Yeah.
it's,
You don't
learn
have
this.
a second to.
Yeah, you learn this on Monday. You better know it on Tuesday because you got to learn this on Tuesday.
Yeah.
If you don't
Yeah.
get it, and we also had a thing there was if they called something for us to do, everybody in training to do, if you messed it up, it didn't matter whose fault it was. I could do everything right every time. If somebody else messed up, the two people in that spot that got messed up had to go to the corner and everybody in training chop, chop, chop,
Oof.
chop, chop.
Yeah.
Everybody chop, and then you did the spot over until you got it right.
No.
We also did amateur wrestling before we even started our bumps and rolls and everything. And we're
Yeah,
talking on top of each other, try to get as many spins as you can on top of each other for 2 minutes straight. Now, it doesn't sound, 2 minutes doesn't sound like much to anybody, but 2 minutes of being right on top of somebody just trying to out wrestle them, like actually out wrestle them, that's going to blow you up
yeah, yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Um, then what I was taught was the purpose in it is if you can do everything right, your basics, your bumping, your feeding, taking bumps crisply, and knowing where you're at in the ring while you're
Hmm.
completely tired,
Yeah.
you go out to have a match and you're fresh. That's the second thought from that point on.
Oh yeah.
You you don't have to think about that because you already know you can do it when you're completely exhausted. And that'll bring me to a good point. There was um there was one night, it was a few years ago, me and Greg were in a the 10,000 battle royal that we do every year.
Yeah, the
That
$10,000 Royale Challenge, the thing Brandon Ray won a couple weeks ago.
So it came down to, and what we're gonna do is it came down to just me and Greg, right?
Yeah.
And we were gonna have a little mini match. Well, when we got to that week, I ended up getting, at the time, what they said was a form of pneumonia.
Mm.
But looking back on statistics, it was right before they had a verbiage for COVID.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Basically, when COVID first hit, I had it. Didn't know what it was.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
completely. And I told Greg, I was like, man, I'm gonna be there. I'll do what I need to do. I don't know
Mhm,
how. I got there, and first thing Greg said was like, "You look terrible." I'm like, "Oh, dude,
yeah,
I don't even know how I'm gonna get to the ring." But anyways, that goes back to the way I was trained. We get
yeah,
in the ring, the battle royal, get to the last mini match. I'm there for it. Boom, 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 boom. Because to me,
yeah.
it's all basics. If
Oh,
we
yeah.
call, if we call something, it's basic to me. All I gotta remember is what's next.
Yeah,
Everything in between is already internally trained for me. It's just there,
yeah,
right? Uh, and that was really good, like really good stuff.
yeah,
But that goes back to that training. That training was very important. And
yeah, yeah,
I don't think I would have had the foresight to break everything down for everybody if I had
mhm,
not had training like I did.
yeah. It's like 2 topics you just brought up in yours, and you in this one topic. It was like, Bruno said it the best last week, and you brought it up this week as well, out of the blue. One of Bruno's advices for young talent nowadays is go out, find somebody reputable in the business, and get trained by him. He said he can go out and change his oil on his truck or anything like that, but he's not gonna go to a mechanic shop and tell a mechanic how to do his job. He's been in the professional wrestling business. You know, he knows professional wrestling.
Right.
But well, John, before we go on to the next topic, we have a comment. If you want to it's a question comment.
I'm
You
not
bring it
answering,
up.
I'm not answering any questions. This is my podcast. Look at my name. Trendsetter Jon Michael. Big sexy. All right, go ahead. I'm just
Alright.
joking.
I'm
I
not
mean,
I'm not gonna make a Kevin Nash.
go ahead.
Alright, so this is actually a high school buddy of mine. He actually had a comment for Bruno and Greg last week, and this is a comment for you. His comment is, what's the hardest part of being a professional wrestler?
Hmm. I think there's a few answers to that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, there's a mental answer to that.
mhm,
Knowing when to be yourself and
yeah,
knowing when to be the person you're trying to project that you are to fans is two different things.
yeah,
There's a happy medium there, right? You can project what you're doing in the ring, um, as real because what you're doing. Trust me, I've had plenty of surgeries. A lot of stuff happens. You
Yeah.
don't plan. It's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can always present it as real, right?
Hmm.
Um, but the hard part of that is if you're someone like me who stays away from everybody, and the only thing people know is what you've projected as your wrestling character, there's people out there that think they know who you are.
Yeah.
So you run into somebody and they're like, they say something, and you're just a guy at the Dollar General at that point trying to get some stuff to get back home. How do you answer those questions in real life? That's one thing that sometimes is hard. Um, the other thing to me that's hardest part of being a wrestler, like I said, as far as my training goes, everything in the ring was basic to me once I knew what I was doing. The
Yeah.
hardest part to me was the in between,
Hmm.
the in between stuff.
Yeah.
So you get in a match, you get halfway through it, something happens and it hurts, and you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing
Hmm.
till the match is over. That's
Yeah.
hard. That's physically demanding. It's hard. But the other thing is, you have, mm, let's go back to when I was wrestling 5, 6 nights a week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm talking about the in between is traveling, hitting the gym, eating, having a match, finding somewhere to sleep, and then doing it all over again 5, 6 nights a week. It's
Yeah.
not the match. It's not the
Yeah.
match. It's all that stuff in between 5, 6 times a week. That's to me the hardest part.
Yeah.
You get your 1 or 2 days off and you're completely away from reality. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Definitely.
And I'm trying to explain that in a way to where I'm not talking about going to a bar after every show, going to do this after
Yeah.
this, but it doesn't matter what you do. You still have to do the other stuff, even if you're completely clean cut. Like
Hmm.
the in between stuff, to me, was the hardest part on me.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So the next topic in our agenda today is, as everybody can see on the graphic above, the Trendsetter moniker. Where did that come from? Where did that originate from?
So the trendsetter moniker really was, I didn't have a name, a real, like a something to call
Yeah.
myself, really. Um, when I was in Canada, um, I was going to completely change my name, change everything, and I was going to change it to, there was Britney Spears.
Yeah.
This Britney Spears, right? I
Yeah.
thought Spears was a cool last name for a wrestler. I was like, well, Shawn Michaels one of my favorites, right? I mean, you
Hmm.
can't argue with that. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
maybe Shawn Spears, right? Well, um, the guy who became Shawn Spears was actually there in my training class,
Okay.
right? So I was like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. Like if I go back to Memphis, everybody's gonna know that's not my name. And I was like, well, like maybe I'll put my initials together. This is JME, my real name, Jon Michael Everett, and I'll be Jamie Spears, right?
Yeah.
And I told, I believe his real name is Ron. I can't remember. I'm sorry if I say that wrong. But anyways, I told him, I was like, hey, you could be Sean Spears and I'll be Jamie Spears. Well, I ended up completely dropping it and just came back. When I came back to Memphis, I was just John Michael. I just dropped that part. And
Yeah.
he took the Sean Spears thing. Like he's still Sean Spears. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But I still was like John Michael. Like it's just my name. It's my real
Yeah.
name. like there's no separation between my real life and wrestling. So I read a Diamond Dallas Page book. I don't know if you remember, he had a book out called Positively Page. And
I remember seeing something, yeah, about it.
I don't remember if it was on the back cover, or if it was one of the last pages or the first pages or what, but somewhere in there the word trendsetter was just thrown out there as part of it. I was like, you know, that'd be kind of a cool gimmick. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'll be the trendsetter. Oh yeah, that'll work. That'll
Mm,
be the trendsetter, right?
yeah.
I'll come out kind of like Macho Man, and I'll have different stuff every time I come out. And I'll be a trendsetter because I'm wearing different stuff every time. We did a camp with Tom Pritchard, um, Austin Aries, and Davari was there. I think I
Okay.
re- I think I wrestled Davari. They both
Okay.
like they both liked the gimmick too, and they're like, "Where'd you come up with that?" You know, and I
Hmm.
didn't get into it, but I just kind of let the name stick with my name and
Yeah. Yeah.
let people announce me as that. You know,
Okay.
because I just do. So it was just there. But in
Yeah.
reality, I couldn't do the actual gimmick justice because I didn't have the money to pay for a different outfit every time I came out to the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I wish I would have like understood what I was trying to do further
Well, it
in
was
depth.
kind of like Greg.
If I had the money, like the trendsetter
Yeah.
gimmick could have been this huge. What's he gonna wear tonight? What's he gonna do
Yeah.
tonight? What the hell does he have on?
Yeah.
But no, I didn't have that. So, but the name
Yeah.
stuck. So it kind of became a backstage thing. Like I started wearing a bandana in my back pocket, and
Hmm.
I know you've seen how many people do that.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all over the place. Like, and I'm not
Yeah.
taking credit for it because it's something else that I picked it up from something else.
Hmm.
But in wrestling, you see it everywhere
Yeah.
now. You know,
Yeah.
and
Somebody always picks up something from the past in professional wrestling.
well, like I was doing a show with it was Shane Douglas and Justin Credible, and
Hmm.
they both pulled me aside and was talking about, hey, when you get there, this you need to know this. Hey, when you get there to do this, you need to know this. Like they were very, very good to me.
Yeah.
And I remember just incredible, like he saw me I had the long bandana hanging out. He's like, why you wear that? I was like, well, I mean, it's just a thing I was doing, but also, my tag partner, Christian Jacobs, he wears one hanging out of his tights, or in pants or whatever. Just that forever on shows that we're not together, like, it's kind of like a
Hmm.
symbol of like, hey, there's more to this, somebody with me. Like we're with each other at all times. I said that,
Yeah.
like Justin was like, that's exactly why we do it. Like I do it. I have it hanging out of mine. Jeff Hardy has it hanging out of his. It's like kind of like a
Hmm.
thing. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
still a thing. It might just be a look now.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
then, like it was kind of cool to hear somebody having the same thought process as me. Popcorn.
Yeah.
Hang
Well,
on,
John, we got
hang
another
on,
comment.
my hair's getting on my nerves. Hang on.
Hmm.
Or we'll go ahead with the comment. Get this.
Well, we just actually got two comments, but seems like our internet's maybe having a little bit of problems right now.
Well, nothing's happening on my end.
Okay, so it just may be mine. I don't know. It's weird. But the first comment we're gonna go over is Brandon Ray, Brandon Wiggins. He commented totally not wrestling related, but where's your sweetheart, Johnny? And he has a dog emoji, two of them.
You talking about my sugar boogie? You talking about sugar? She's not in the room right now because my daughter has two cats and they are
Gotcha.
all over the place. So I can't leave the door open for sugar because the other two will completely rampage this room and start fighting each other. And I
Yeah,
won't even be able to podcast for a little bit if I do all that. So
gotcha. And the other comment we literally just got in, it was a question comment. It's from we both know him very very well, Bull Bronson on YouTube. He commented, "Hey, best match?" Question mark.
My best match. Bull Bronson, my best match was you came out to wrestle somebody. You put the title on the line. You didn't know who it was. It was Halloween weekend in Union City, Tennessee, and I remember watching everything go down. Jason came out in a mask with a machete to wrestle you, Bronson. Yeah. And he beat you. And then I took the mask off and it was me.
It was the trendsetter
My
Jon
best
Michael
match.
the whole time.
No professional wrestling involved in all. Like no technical wrestling at all. I just scared you with a machete and beat you. How you like
That
that?
was it. That was it, huh? That
Well,
was
best
it.
match because I can't. I'm not a good wrestler, so.
Yeah, I think your history and your past, kind of says a little bit different.
For an honest opinion, like serious answer, and I really don't know. There's too many.
You got a history,
There's too
23
many.
years.
Um, I mean, what is a good match,
That's a
right?
good question as well. Yeah.
This is where you get into the details.
Oh
What's a
yeah.
good match? Is a good match what brings people back to buy another ticket and bring somebody with them, no matter how technical the match is,
Hmm.
or is a good match, a wow, that was good wrestling. Um, Popped the crowd a few times and had a good end to the match. Like that was an awesome match, but we've seen what we wanted. We're not going to come back. Like, is that a good match? You know, a match that moves merchandise. You can have a match that's literally just somebody on the microphone. The match starts. The heel gets on the microphone and talks crap the entire time he's on the microphone, walking to each side of the crowd, talking crap, saying that he's the best ever, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's ever pinned him in
Yeah.
this, blah, blah. And then he's like, so without further ado, ring the bell. I'm going to show you guys a wrestling lesson. He hands the mic off, and the babyface just walks up behind him and rolls him up 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's a big moment. Is it a
Yeah.
good? Is it a good match? People might come back because the heel gets heat after. So what are we doing here, right? So to me, I mean, there's certain match. Obviously, there's a
Yeah.
simple answer. Like you can say what you enjoyed as a good match. I had great matches with Stan Lee. I will say this about Stan Lee: in the ring, just locking up with somebody and just doing stuff.
Yeah.
I've always said this. Stan is his own person. He's on his own little spot right there. If
Yeah.
there's a much more like kind of thing for this little area, he's got his own little hill over here. Like
Hmm.
he can have a good match with everybody. Like it doesn't matter who you put him in the ring with. Stan's gonna have a good match.
Yeah.
Uh, Me and Derek have had Derek King have had some
Oh yeah.
really good stuff. We've
Yeah.
had some programs, some good matches. We've written some good stuff. Probably more so, me and Derek have probably written and helped more people than anything other than our matches against each other. Because really,
Yeah.
that's secondary to us. We both know we can wrestle, so we just go out and have a good match.
Oh yeah.
Me and Greg, before we started with Pro Wrestling Mid South, so we had a plan to keep me and Greg separate until we really needed each other, uh, which kind of sucks because I got plagued with injuries. But before that idea, me and Greg actually have had several matches that were just, no pun intended, golden. Um,
Yeah.
some of it was planned, some of it was stuff that was just like we knew how to wrestle and we knew
Yeah.
psychology, so it
I
happened.
mean, you guys broke into the business together, so
So it's just one of the things.
Yeah.
You ever get in the ring and you lock up with somebody? There's a lot of times you can lock up with somebody and go, all right, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
He, kn- he knows what he's doing. I can have
Hmm.
some fun. He's worried about remembering a bunch of spots and stuff. Let's just work.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing that's missing nowadays is work.
Yeah.
Worker and wrestler are two different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Work, worker, wrestler, performer are three different things. I
Mhm.
mean, I could go into like super deep detail, but we'll
Oh, yeah.
save it for another time.
Yeah, we'll save it for another time. Well, we had 2 more comments since then. Will Bronson responded to your Halloween match. He said, "I tried to forget that. Thanks."
Only reason I said it.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
probably did forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, another comment from this is a two-parter question from Brandon Ray again.
All right.
What's the greatest rib you've ever been a part of or have witnessed? Also, do you think locker rooms are too uptight now and need more ribs?
I'll answer the second question first.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I
And,
think so
and,
too.
and the second question is a two-part answer, actually. The second question, two-part answer. Um, Uptight, I guess would be the word. Society itself has changed so much that we are um trying to think of the word here. It's tip of my tongue. Tip of the tongue. We are we're in a cancel culture kind of thing. That's not the word I'm looking for, but we are in a
Tight, maybe tight tiered is what you're trying to.
almost in a communist kind of way. We are stuck into thinking we should never ever offend anybody of any nature.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And I think that's a very unhealthy way to live.
yeah,
Because for me, I know personally, if I didn't have humor, I'd be not on a log or not in this world anymore. Right.
yeah,
So I think that's part of it. I think part of it is people are too afraid to do too much to play a little joke on somebody.
yeah,
Joke, Jokes are not bad. There's lighthearted ribs that can be done that are not doesn't affect anybody or hurt anybody. That can be
yeah,
done. There's some really hard ribs that
yeah.
we all used to do some hard ribs,
Oh
and
yeah.
I think with the right person, I think some of that's still okay in my honest opinion because it
Hmm.
lets them feel like, hey, you're not in that spot yet. Like we're playing this rib on you because we like you, but you need to
Yeah,
learn your place, calm down. That's part of the reason of those kind of ribs.
yeah.
Um, let's see. The first question was he said worst rib.
Now, what's the greatest rib you've been a part of or have witnessed?
Oh man.
I mean, 23 years. I imagine you've seen quite a few of them.
So let me go with. There's plenty of bad ones I could tell you that involve poop and pee and
Yeah,
stuff. Let me tell you, like the longest day of a very, very lighthearted rib that it just kept on going for
gotcha.
for the entire trip, and
Yeah.
not on purpose. It didn't start out as a rib, but it
Hmm.
continued on and it turned into a rib, and then we kept ribbing with it, and then it got worse.
Okay.
Um, it was me, Greg, Bobby, Sigmund, and maybe Brian and somebody else was Sigmund that day. I can't remember. Me and Sigmund were traveling a lot, so it might have been all 4 or 5 of us.
Okay.
So for some odd reason, I don't know why, we're in the car on the way to the show, and for some odd reason, I just belted out in Howard Finkel's voice. The Rock, like his announcing to the ring.
Yeah,
Like,
the Rock. Yeah,
Miami, Florida, The Rock, like weighing in
yeah,
at 275 pounds. I just
yeah.
belted that out in the car, and me and Sigmund kind of just laughed and started going back and forth about that. We get to the show for TCW. It's a pretty big arena, and we continue doing it in the locker room. We're just doing it. And it's funny, but we're just doing it because it's kind of fun to do. Howard Finkel's voice was fun to do, right? I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're all in the like gorilla position before anybody's let in the building, and you have the
Mhm,
ring is up. I think there's 2 or 3 people in the like ring area trying to like figure out how they want to place something for TV in the match or whatever. And we're all
mhm.
standing. There's this very very long walk, and everybody's talking. And Jake the Snake Roberts arrives. I guess it came in the wrong door, so he's walking the full length of the area to where we're at to the
Yeah,
gorilla. So in my brain, it looks like he's walking out to the ring, like he's
yeah,
doing this, right?
yeah,
Everybody sees Jake and they're like, "Oh, shh, shh, shh." And I'm like, whatever, man. Like I look back over, he's doing his walk, and I just yell out in Howard Finkel's voice, I do his whole Howard Finkel, Jake the Snake, you know.
yeah. The whole thing is he's just
Nick,
walking to the locker
Nick,
room.
Nick, Roberts. I do
Yeah,
that, and
yeah,
he gets to me. He's like, sounds exactly like him, So that rib continued on
yeah,
the entire day, the entire event, the entire show. We get back in the
yeah.
car, still doing it, and then we actually get Bobby doing it. Bobby does Howard Finkel,
Really?
but instead of
Hmm.
Bobby doing Howard Finkel's voice and announcing somebody to the ring, Bobby does Howard Finkel's voice and just cuts a promo. And it's
Really?
most perfect promo ever. And you know how like sometimes nothing gets Bobby, but like if he talked in his normal voice, he would kind of mumble over some stuff, right? He does this
Yeah.
promo, Howard Finkel's voice, and just it's like the most perfect promo. And me and Sigmund are like, what? And then I just out loud was like, Bobby, maybe you should always talk in Howard Finkel's voice. And
Yeah.
Bobby
Yeah.
started and it's like, I think
Yeah.
that's it, you know. So the day's over. We all get in
Mhm.
our cars. There's several ways to get in our
Yeah.
cars. There's a WWE pay per view that night. We're
I
all
think I've heard this story. Just let you know, I've heard this story.
we are all at home. We turn on the pay per view. We're all watching it. Alberto Del Rio comes out with his
Yeah.
own personal ring announcer. They do their thing. CM
Mhm.
Punk comes and is like, you know what? I'm tired of you having your own personal ring announcer. So I thought I'd get my own. Just randomly. It's on the same
Yeah.
day. Howard Finkel walks out and does the whole entrance
Yeah.
for Punk, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden Sigmund's calling me.
Yeah.
I'm Greg's calling. Bob's like, we're all calling each
Yeah.
other. You kidding me? Can this not stop? Like it's
Yeah.
just going.
Yeah. You think it's over. You
Yeah.
two, all of you have separated. You think it's over, and then boom. Well,
Yep.
I think it actually was because I just watched the moment actually through Facebook Reels, and what it
Yeah.
was so they were in the ring waiting for Punk to come out, and then the ring announcer actually goes, and now CM Punk's personal ring announcer,
Yeah. Yeah.
Howard Finkel, and then the Finkel come out, and like and it was so great because Howard Finkel he comes out and literally just stands there for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
literally like letting the
Every.
cheers like just sinking it in.
Yep.
And then like even whenever he finally brought Punk out, Punk was like looking at his watch like, hey. And he
Yep.
was, but Punk was cool about it.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was the greatest thing ever.
But for us, it was a completely different
Yeah,
greatest
yeah.
mad about it kind of thing. Like so. I guess that's one of the funniest long-winded,
Well,
light-hearted ribs. There's some bad ones I could tell, but I'm not going to tell them.
I don't know if because we got another comment. It's Bull again, Bull Bronson,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna bring it up right now. It says rib, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Waffle House. the South will rise again. I don't know. Do you know anything about that?
Boy, you're gonna have to tell me that one because it's slipping my mind. What did we do? What one of those? Okay, one of those trips. I don't remember what he's talking about, but I do remember one of those trips we were on to where Bull was asleep in the car. This probably does not have anything to do with what he's talking about, but
Yeah.
Bull was asleep in the van in the back seat with me. He's asleep, and we stop. Greg pulls over, or whoever's driving pulls over, and we stop to go into a gas station, get some drinks, use the bathroom, get something to eat, whatever. And I asked Bull, like, "You all right?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's still asleep. And I'm like, "All right, we're at the gas
Yeah.
station. Let's go ahead and use the bathroom or get something to eat." And he just like gets out of the car, and we are walking literally from the car all the way in, and he's walking, and Bull is still snoring.
Okay.
He's still snoring, like asleep. He's still snoring, walking into the gas station. He's like, Bull, are you okay? And he's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." And then we get back in the car, and we both fall asleep on top of each other.
Hmm.
Well, like on the shoulders,
Yeah, on the shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can get on with the next topic of our agenda. Maybe Bull will chime back in on what maybe an explanation on that rib.
Yeah, because I feel
Uh,
like I should know, but for some reason it's slipping my mind.
yeah. So the next topic is tell us about your time in the Dyersburg Entertainment Center.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
some of those ribs happened there. I'll tell you that much. A lot of those
I
ribs,
imagine so. Yeah.
a lot of stuff, a lot of
Uh,
money, a lot of things, a lot of stuff, things. You know,
yeah.
you want to know about the wrestling at the Dyersburg Entertainment Center, or how it came about, or something else? There's a lot.
Well, we're already at the hour mark right now, so we're gonna have to try and keep answers a little short. But it's up to you. Well, I mean, whatever you wanna talk about with the Dyersburg Entertainment Center.
From what
That
I
was a big.
it's a chunk. It's a big chunk. From
Okay.
what I recall, when we all started doing some Wednesday shows there, they had Saturday shows. We did Wednesday shows there. There was a group of us younger guys that was kind of on this little knit group that would do our own thing, and they would
Yeah.
allow us to come and do some Wednesday stuff. And then there was I, you know, I didn't realize it, but I was just doing whatever to go wrestle somewhere. I didn't really wasn't paying attention to politics of wrestling at that time. I was so young. But there was also DCW at the Peppermint Pond, and I remember Simon and Derek talked to me and Stan and said, "Hey, will you guys come over and help us tear down the ring?"
Yeah.
Well, me and Stan, we just did whatever, like
Mhm.
wherever one was, we went and did whatever.
Yeah.
So we went and tore down the ring, and then they set up another ring, and we really weren't sure like why that was going on, but I think that ended up being me and Stan jumped to DCW. It was only like a week or two.
Okay.
Uh, Me and Simon wrestled each other, and then the next thing you know, like the next week goes by, and it's like 1 or 2 weeks after that, and Sermo and Dyersburg Entertainment Center bought into it, and now it's
Mhm.
all one thing. And when that happened, there was almost an overload of talent.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we're talking about guys. There's a lot of guys that don't get the credit they deserve, and I'd like to take the moment to say some of those people's names. Uh, First, you got Tully, Rude, and Poker.
Naughty by
Those
nature. Yeah.
Naughty by Nature. Those three guys were always there, always up for business.
Yeah.
They would call you. They would call you on your crap if it didn't make sense, but they would still go out and do the job that was asked of them. And for me personally, that was one of the first examples I had of,
Hmm.
even if I disagreed with it, this is where
Yeah.
I work, so I'm going to do my job. So
Yeah.
I started do I took that advice, even without them saying that to me personally. I've always been one of those people who have just sit and listened and paid attention to what people are doing or what people are saying. So Naughty by Nature deserves the credit that they probably
Yeah.
don't get enough. They don't get
Yeah.
enough. And I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. One time, which Rude and Poker both know, they both know how much I appreciate them. Um,
Well, it's
even
kind of
though
weird you bring them up because,
even though we don't get to talk and be around each other as much, when we
yeah.
are around each other, they know.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's immediate for all three of us. It's like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
You okay? Okay, what's going on with you? We get past that, and we're all back on
Oh, yeah.
us.
Yeah.
But the story I was going to tell was about Tully.
Okay.
Um, there was a moment in time where, um, like I said, there was an abundance of good talent
Hmm.
there because those two companies came together. Um, and there was a time there where Tully was really good in the ring. And he's what I would call it, like the worker type of person. You can get in the ring and just call it in the ring.
Hmm.
It'd be a solid match. But there was a point in time where I think it was me, Alan Steele, maybe Derek, and maybe it was Jason Reed. I'm not sure. Definitely me, Alan, Derek were kind of doing the world, or not world title. It wasn't really a world title, but the heavyweight championship time frame
Yeah.
there. It was always
Yeah.
between us three for a little bit. And Tully had never had that spot. And
Okay.
I remember um, Mo coming to me and saying, "Hey, Tully's never had that moment. Like,
Yeah.
I, I'd like for you to drop the title to him. Whatever what you want to do." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
say no more. Like,
Yeah.
I, I work for you. Like, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do." And
Hmm.
as far as Tully goes, like, why wouldn't I? Not
Yeah.
like he's a brand new guy. Like, he's helped all these other guys.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we did a
Yeah.
short angle. He came out. He picked the belt up. I was champion. He
Hmm.
picked it up like he was going to hand it to me, like he was being a good guy. I went to grab it. He just dropped it in front of me. I looked at him. I bent over to pick the title up. When I did that, he grabbed me by the head and DDT'd me on the title. And then we had
Hmm.
a match, and I dropped the title to him. I don't
Okay.
know.
Cool dude.
I guess we can parlay like that. Dyersburg Entertainment Center will be a whole other topic. Let's just
Yeah.
say,
Yeah. 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 So it was actually kind of weird that you brought Naughty by Nature up because I've known Poker Face since the beginning of
yeah,
my professional wrestling career. Like I was telling people at the beginning, it's like whenever I first got into business, it was RCW Pro Wrestling. You know the building very
that was
well, the
right
Power
after
Pro
me.
Arena.
That was right after me when I moved, wasn't it? I think I moved.
Uh,
I think I moved out of the area, and then they ran RCW.
yeah, it's RCW Pro Wrestling. It was Rashard Devon. He
Yeah,
he he started it.
I
He ran it, stuff like that. Well, Poker Face was actually his head booker, and so that's how I met Poker Face. I've done audio for Poker Face's Millington Mayhem the past 6 or 7 years, and if Poker Face is watching this, hit me up because I'd like to be your audio guy for Millington Mayhem 11 also. But
when I
next
keep plugging.
week's yeah, next week's guest is Poker Face.
Oh,
So
you
I think we're gonna have a good
tell
time
him
with that.
you think he's a sorry, low down, no good son of a angel.
Okay, I'll let him know you said that from the Trendsetter.
Yeah,
But before we get on with the next topic, because next topic is kind of important. Because like I said, I called you tag team specialist. Stuff like that. But Bull Bronson had a response and kind of a little bit of an explanation about the rib that he was talking about.
Okay.
Let me pull that up. It said, "You played that racist shit on the jukebox. We were the only whites there."
Dude, what did I play? Because that does sound like me. Just go up there and play a couple songs, and one of the songs be not okay.
Yeah. And then
I don't think he wants to say what the song was.
Probably not. But then we got another comment from Brandon Ray again. He said, "Isn't it crazy? I was like 5 years old during the Entertainment Center era watching you. Fast forward to now, and we've had multiple matches."
Yeah, me and Brandon had some good matches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen all of them.
Yeah, one of the things I thought I did well with Brandon was he was doing a gimmick with a chest protector, and I think honestly, and I'm not like saying I'm great or better than anybody. By no means am I. But I do think that I made good cause with his gimmick that he had on.
Yeah.
And made the match centered around that whole gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that was one of the matches, and I think we actually, me and Brandon talked about that a few weeks ago. Like that was one of the matches that made sense with that chest protector. And I had him just beat me because of like he just hit me with the chest. That was it. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one more thing before we get on with our next subject, John. Not a lot of people know. I mentioned it at the beginning whenever I was introducing you, but I signed a new sponsor for the Mid-South Wrestling Center podcast. So if you'd like to help me put them over real quick, I'll bring up their little graphic right now.
All right. What we got here? What we got here?
Let me see if I can find it.
Let's see what we got here.
If I can find it.
Got no video file. We don't have no graphic. Can't find it.
Well, I was doing videos yesterday. And I mean, not video, I was able to do the clips for Bruno's thing yesterday. I may just have to bring it up. I might just have to. You may not be able to see it, but
okay.
I thought I was going to be able to do this. Let's add an overlay, I guess. Let's get that uploaded real quick. It's Sting. Yeah. But here we are right now.
Is that it?
I don't know if you can see that, John. Can you see that?
I can. Lonnie Flowers, baby.
He's the owner, Mr. Lonnie Flowers. He's the owner. It's J&J Customs Auto Repair and Diagnostics. They're located in Halls, Tennessee. They're kind of more, I understand, I didn't get an exact address from them, but they're kind of on that border of Dyersburg and Halls. They're a new company.
They're right on Highway 51. I know exactly.
People, yep. Right on right off of it's like 5 minutes off of Highway 51. For people around this area that don't know, 4 Points, they're about 5 minutes away from 4 Points. They can do everything. They're a new company, family owned and operated, over 20 years experience between both.
Everything from a simple oil change to major diagnostics. Family owned and operated, over 20 years experience. Call Lonnie Flowers. He's the owner. It's 901-697-9031. Again, that number is 901-697-9031. J&J Customs Auto Repair and Diagnostics. Well, let's say custom. They're custom made from head to toe, baby. Woo!
That's right. Also, if you can't get a hold of Mr. Lonnie Flowers, his mechanic, also Mr. Robert Sylvester, his number's on the graphic as well. There's a $75 diagnostics fee that will be included with all major diagnostics or any sort of kind of diagnostics where they have to hook up their tool to your vehicle to determine what's going on. There's a lot of, speaking of them, I'm going to take this graphic down so we can see each other again. There's you of all people, I know also, there's a lot of fly-by-night mechanic shops, stuff like that around here. And I think it's just it's kind of good knowing that I can take my vehicle to a family-owned and operated, facility like that.
Right. Very personal people.
Oh, yeah.
That's always what you want. Somebody that's honest with you about the work they're doing. They're not just going to add something onto it,
Oh, yeah. And both of them combined have over 20 years of mechanic experience. It's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. All right, John, on to the next topic. Like I was saying earlier, I put you over as a tag team specialist. And the next topic is, and you spoke about him earlier, your tag team partner, Christian Jacobs. Tell us how Picture Perfect come together.
So I think I'll tell this kind of the kibosh, himhosh, whatever, how it kind of accidentally happened. And then from that point, we'll leave it open because Picture Perfect could be its own podcast. Me and CJ.
Yeah. We'll definitely see if we can get CJ on here in the future with CJ, you and CJ.
Do a double deal with you and do a whole thing on that because it's too much, just stuff. But as far as us coming together was total just happenstance. Me and a couple guys were doing a show in I think we did Marmaduke, and then from there we went and did another show somewhere else for Coach BT.
Okay.
And Coach BT had just started it in this building where another show used to run.
Yeah.
So another show used to run there, and they stopped running there, and they took that booking for that building. So I'm walking in blind. I don't know, between the couple people I came with, I don't know any of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere in the middle of the show, the guys that used to run that building showed up in the crowd, started causing an issue, and then they started kind of getting into shoot mode and get ready to get in the ring and jump up on the apron. So somebody by the name of last name Michaels, and then me, a couple of the guys, and CJ, we all ran to the ring ready for a shoot fight.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, ready to shoot. Like we all slid in the ring ready for a shoot. And security and some other people and kind of got the guys down off the apron, separated, kicked them out of the building, and we were ready to go. And like me and that was the first night me and CJ ever met each other.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
We're in the ring ready to.
Yeah, ready to kick some butt right there
with each other, right? And
yeah.
What Then all of a sudden we started doing some more shows with Coach BT, and Coach BT had us in a group together, so we were around each other a lot more. And then that died off, and we were doing Osceola on Fridays, and road shows in between Memphis and Dyersburg, and just randomly was like, well, we're doing this, we're doing that. Let's do a tag match. We did a couple tag matches. It literally only took like 2 matches, and it was like we didn't even have to say anything to each other. We're just tag in. I would do something, I'd tag in, he'd come in and start from where I stopped of whatever psychology I had going on. He would go there, tag out, go there, and then from that point on, it just turned into, well, you want to do this? Like, let's do an actual tag team, and we did. At first, we didn't have a name. Ken Wayne wanted us to come up with a name. They came up with a group name called the Gentleman's Club, and me and Cedar was like, well, we don't want to be the Gentleman's Club. That's a group. Like, we're already doing us. Like, so
Yeah.
we came up with Picture Perfect, and Picture
Okay.
Perfect. The name Picture Perfect actually came from a Garth Brooks song.
Really?
I was just on the road by
Yeah.
myself listening to music, and a Garth Brooks song was on, and he said "Picture Perfect" during one of the songs, and I was like, "Oh, that's a catchy name." We both, me and CJ, both look alike. Picture Perfect, that'll work, you know.
Yeah.
So we put like a modeling thing behind it, like Rick the Model Martel at first, and we were coming out with boas and
Yeah.
shades and hairspray and stuff, you know. And
Yep.
Kim went, "Are y'all models or wrestlers?" I'm like, "Kind of both. Isn't that the idea? Like, we look good and we can wrestle." I'm like, because we were going to have this whole entrance for TV with a red tarp coming down and paparazzi following us to the ring and stuff,
Yeah.
flashing. And I'm like, we're not doing that part. Y'all can be picture perfect, but we're not doing all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Swear to you, a month later, because I was wrestling in Nashville at the time too with Joey
Hmm.
Matthews. About a month later, Joey Matthews and his partner came out, and they were doing the red tarp going down. Paparazzi taking pictures of him. They were Eminem.
Eminem. Yep.
Yep. And we're like,
Yep.
no, it wouldn't work. I don't think that would work. You know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Mercury.
so then that turned into me and CJ just looking alike
Yeah.
and wrestling our ass off pretty much the whole time, trying to
Yeah.
prove a point. Which
I think it was
we got there.
Mercury, Nitro, and Melina, wasn't it?
Yeah, Millennium, yeah. But
Yeah,
we'll
Melina.
save the rest of that story for
Yeah, we'll
another.
save that for yeah. But well, the next subject is everybody sees the Trendsetter and then below Jon Michael stuff like that. But you haven't. Yeah, you did you kept the Jon Michael part for this next subject, but if most people look you up online right now, Jon Michael Worthington comes up in a lot of online topics.
Yep.
Where did the Jon Michael Worthington?
So I had done a lot of stuff in Nashville, kind of its own topic. There's a lot that can be covered there too, but probably the last third of my Nashville stuff was actually when I was living in Louisville.
Okay.
Uh, when I was living in Louisville, man, I'm telling you, man, I was all over the place. I was doing some stuff around Louisville, New Madrid, Michigan, Nashville, Bowling Green,
Yeah.
um, down to Alabama, back up. I hit a couple Pennsylvania shots. Like there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But when went back to Nashville, it was SAW, and they were doing TV, and did a couple shows. Me and Tony Gunn, and I think they were just trying to figure out if they wanted me to be a heel or a baby face
Okay.
and where I would fit in currently with their storylines.
Hmm.
Because they already knew Paul Adams. Oh, man, I miss Paul Adams. That's one guy. Paul Adams was like one of the boys. Like he would, and David Young would attest to this. Like just randomly text you and call you and be like, "What are you doing, you dummy?" And go
Yeah.
back and make fun of each other back and forth, and then you'd actually talk about what was important. But anyways, Paul Adams was taking care of me while we were doing that, and he was helping Reno Riggins book the shows and stuff. And we got to a point to where I think Sean Schultz and TJ Harley were doing a feud where there was a bounty involved, and the bounty was placed by a girl who Sean Schultz was trying to date, and
Okay.
her last name was Worthington, and she was
Okay.
like she's kind of a really good looking girl and rich, like from a rich family, and
Hmm.
like something happened to where Sean couldn't get the bounty, and then he backed out at some point, and then a couple other guys tried to get the bounty, they couldn't get it, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, we've got word that they're going to take care of it themselves. They're going to send a family member in." And next thing I know, I'm watching TV. I
Yeah.
TJ Harley. They didn't tell me this part. I jumped TJ Harley, beat the crap out of him, and collect the bounty. And I'm thinking that's just my debut. Like I'm doing that. That's my debut, and then I'll start something with him. The next week on TV, I'm watching it, and it's like, maybe her name was Rachel. I might have it wrong, but anyways,
Okay.
so let's just say Mrs. Worthington.
Yeah.
She supposedly was my sister.
Okay.
So my sister, sent me her brother to take care of it. But on TV, it just popped up Jon Michael Worthington. And I looked at it, like, well, my last name's Worthington? So, like, I had to figure out a
It
whole.
is now.
Yeah. I was like, I had to figure out a whole another thing to go behind it. So I got different t-shirts with a English shield on it with a W on it, like Worthington.
Okay. Yeah.
And kind of went with I was one of the higher ups in Nashville, like, because my family owned several businesses, and
Gotcha.
I just went with it.
Okay.
And it carried over to other TVs because honestly, the heel persona worked everywhere I did it.
Yeah.
Because I'm very slow talking,
Mm-hmm.
very deliberate. I thought I was better than everybody else. Talked down to anybody that talked to me. Even if they helped me, I made it seem like I was the reason they put the effort in,
Yeah.
So I liked it. It was fun. I mean, I can't say about it. I mean, I was still working with the guys I loved working with.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like Nashville from like the Memphis crew for me was like a brotherhood, but in a different way. Like they accepted me, and I was, I guess I was maybe regarded as Jon Michael will work with you. He's an easy night. He's a good worker, good hand.
Yeah.
Which is what you hope for. It's really all you can hope for. But I think the Memphis, like me and Derek always joke about. I'm the kind of the Will Ferrell on the backstage side of everything. I'm the Will Ferrell of the group.
Okay.
It's always it's always something funny. I'm always building up to something.
Yeah.
A very dry humor, but it's very, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they accepted me for those things because I could kind of place myself in any situation. But my Nashville guys, for me, like my Nashville guys was almost like I just like walked in and they accepted me and they enjoyed the work, but they also was like, this guy is one of our guys.
Yeah.
He's part of the family. So there's more family for me in Nashville, which is very odd because I'm from here. But that was kind of like my family of wrestling, me and Chase and, like Chris Michael. Me, Chase, Chris Michaels, hands down. Put us in a car, we'll take care of the whole shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And somewhere else, like, we'll take care of some of it. Take care of what we're doing, But those guys in Nashville, I don't know. It's just different.
Gotcha.
But that's why it didn't bother me. The Worthington thing, it was just an extension of, okay, I'm a major heel now.
Yeah.
I'm not just turning heel. I'm an actual major heel. So let me roll with it.
Cool deal. Well, John, we're going to start slowly winding down with the rest of these topics. We only have like a handful of topics, maybe four or five topics left. But whenever I went on my first podcast and being, I was the guest of a podcast, they were asking me, how I got into professional wrestling. It was, there was never a time that, I was raised by my grandparents, adopted by my grandparents when I was 3, but I was born into their house. I was brought home from the hospital in their house, never left their house. So there was never a time that I don't remember watching professional wrestling. Well, it was the mid 2000s, late 2000s, and I was born and raised in Ripley, Tennessee, and so word got around that hey, professional wrestling is coming live to Ripley, Tennessee. So it was an every Saturday occasion. Grandfather would come. I think they had a deal going on where like if you were 10 and under or something like that.
Yeah, probably
for free.
Or 6 and under or something like that.
Yeah, something like I was like 10 for like even like almost 5 years after I had because I was still I'm 6'2", 6'3" now, but I was a little guy back then, so I could pass for it. But we go every Saturday, and so just I watched that's where I grew up watching you, CJ, Chris O'Neal, Derek King, Stanley, stuff like that. So tell us about your time with that. I know there's been a lot of companies that's been through Ripley, but tell us about your time in TLCW, EWE,
Yeah, I was about
stuff
to
like
say
that.
we're going to start. We are going to start with TLCW because if
Yeah.
it hadn't been that, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, Timothy Lee Cummings. Yeah.
Yep, Tim Cummings.
Yep.
God bless him.
Mhm.
And the reason I want to make that point is because Tim was a friend of my dad's.
Okay.
And when Mr. Timmy passed away, my dad was the first one there on call.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, I won't go into detail about what happened there, but
Yeah.
but Timmy did open up the door for a lot of young guys that didn't have a door.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like me and Derek, we had doors. We were already
Yeah.
doors, but for the guys that didn't have a door, Timmy was taking care of it. He had to make sure there was a spot, at least a spot for people to wrestle every Friday night.
Oh yeah.
So really the way that TLCW came about, I don't think a lot of people know this part, but Derek and Stan were in Puerto Rico at the time.
Okay.
With Flash.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember that because they were gone, but we were still keeping in contact over the phone every now and then. Me and Stan mostly, but sometimes Derek and me. But so they were there, and I guess they were winding down at the exact same time that me and CJ were just trying to fill a date.
Yeah.
And we found out there was a Friday date open closer to home, so we would hit Friday and then travel to Nashville and then come back on Sunday and then hit another date, right?
Yeah.
So we found out there was a show in Ripley on Friday, and it was when the locker room was where the concession stand is now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when the building wasn't painted; it was just a big white building with like school chairs in it. Remember that?
Yeah.
Everything was just lights on. There was no pictures or nothing.
Yep.
So me and CJ went there just to hang out. Really, first night we told Tim, he was like, "Oh, I just want to meet the guys, meet the crew, and see what you got going on." And me and CJ come the next week and have a match or whatever. And we'll do a little something tonight. Just we'll know we're there. So they had a tag match. I think it was Galen and Biscuit against somebody. And while they're doing the tag match, me and CJ just show up out of nowhere, unannounced, as picture perfect, full garb. And we walk over to the announce table and just sit there right in front of them and watch the match. And we get into the ring, and everybody's thinking we're going to do something, and we don't do nothing. We just shake their head. We're like, all right, well, just to let you know, we'll be here next week for real, though. And then we'll come next week, and we have a tag match, and it's good stuff. Crowd was all over it. I was happy with the crowd. The building was full. I was like, wow, we actually did a little something. There might be something here.
Yeah.
And Derek and Stan were getting ready to come back to Tennessee. And I was like, hey, got a little spot in Ripley. What do you think? And, next thing you know, they're there. We're there.
Yeah.
Tim Grimes there. The whole crew just shifts from Dyersburg to Ripley, and we're off again. And it's just boys there, Flash is there, like and it just becomes another. We got too much talent. Like everything on the show was good. And we could say there's several reincarnations of that, but for me, that beginning boom, kind of set the tone for there needs to be wrestling there. It just needs to be there.
Well, like I said, mentioned in the one interview when I was talking about TLCW and EW, it was great as a kid because right around the time that TLCW was there in Ripley, Corey Macklin's Memphis Wrestling was going on TV as well. And so it was
Right.
so cool, being able to see the guys,
Yeah.
the night after on live on Corey Macklin's Memphis Wrestling TV, being
Very
able to
safe.
see them, live and in action and living color the night before,
Very safe.
in Ripley.
So for me, I don't know about all the other guys. I think some of them did it, but for me, I was doing when we swapped to doing Ripley on Saturday night. When we
Hmm.
swapped to, I was doing Nashville Thursday, Friday. Um, get up in the morning in Nashville, drive to do TV, be there at 8 or 9 in the morning or whatever. Do 2 tapings. We do like a car lot show like after that
Yeah.
in Memphis, and then we drive back to Ripley and we do another show there. So I was getting like 6, 7 matches in a day's time.
Okay.
That happened to me a lot. I don't know if that happened
Yeah.
to other people, but that was everywhere you went. There was a crowd.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna say this for the young. If there's anybody young watching this,
mhm,
you're not gonna experience that unless you do more than one show a week. I understand if you do one show a week
mhm,
just because you enjoy wrestling and you want to get in the ring. That's okay.
yeah.
But if you want to do something more, you have to be in the ring more than once a week. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Period. Period. There is no.
Yeah.
uh, I busted my tail just to get certain things to follow through for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Doing 5, 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen doing one night a week, guys. And
Mhm.
talk to these, even if you don't work for them, you can still talk to other people.
Yeah.
Learn. Everything's about learning in this business. So if
Mhm.
you want to learn something, talk to the guys you're around. Learn everything that you hear. Just listen. I'm going to put this out there. There's a lot of shows that I've done in the past where I wasn't like a higher up or anything, but I was allowed to be in the room.
Gotcha.
Just being allowed to be in the room is a small show of respect. And if you get that small show of respect, what you do is you shut up and you listen to everything
Mhm.
that's contemplated in that room. From those moments, I learned that they wanted me to write the card out because I had pretty handwriting.
Yeah.
That was it. That's all. That's all I was there for. But from
Mm.
that point on, I learned, okay, this is how a show is formulated. There's a flow to a show. This match, and this match are good. That means they don't need to be right next to each other. We need to make a flow to the show. That's just from learning. That's just from me writing.
Yeah.
Pretty handwriting. It's because I listen. And the more you listen, the more you learn. And if you think that you learned everything, you might as well stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
Like same thing in Nashville. I was just sitting there because we were waiting on Larry Sabisco to come and do commentary over our taping. We're
Mhm.
sitting. So Bob Ryder's putting the show together to where he can just take out the pieces to where Larry has to talk over them. So I'm sitting there and I'm paying attention to him and I'm listening to the director and then he's talking and I'm actually just listening like, okay, I might need to know that. Okay, that's
Yeah.
okay. That makes sense. Then all
Yeah.
of a sudden, Bob Ryder just looks over and is like, "Come here," just only because he knows that I got my mouth shut and I'm actually paying attention.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, come here." I came over close to the computer and he showed me how to time out 2 minutes at a time every TV program. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
It's because I was in the room. I knew to keep my mouth shut and listen and only answer questions when they're asked. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for the young guys, back to what I was trying to say is you're not going to learn those things unless you put yourself in the position to learn them.
Yeah. Yeah. I
There's
agree.
there's several people around here. And here's another thing about learning. Even if I hate to cuss, and I'll try not to cuss when I'm
It's
saying,
cool. Yeah, I know.
even if someone is telling you something that's bullshit,
Yeah.
listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next person, if you're actually trying to listen to several people, someone tells you something that's bullshit, and the next person tells you something that you can feel it's right,
Mm-hmm.
and the next person tells you something that's just pretty basic and standard, you can take
Yeah.
all three of those pieces of information and you can understand, okay, this is how it's done. This is the right way to do it. What this guy says is bullshit, but I can take this from what he said and put it in
Mm-hmm.
over to make it entertaining,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You can decipher from, okay, this was not right. This was right. Let me remember this,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So talk, work, go everywhere you can. If you're actually trying to get somewhere, go.
Mm-hmm. Especially now in this day and age with this WWID thing coming up.
It's talk and go. Talk and
Yeah.
go. Everything's at your fingertips. Back in my day, it was put your own highlight reel together with like 8 different VHS tapes to put them on the one
Mm-hmm.
VHS tape, put a song over it, send it off with 8x10, and hope somebody calls you back, and hope that you
Yeah.
have your phone on when they do it.
Oh yeah, it's a different, yeah, definitely different time nowadays. Everything is so digital.
I was doing I was doing WWE camps all the time. I was doing
Yeah.
all that stuff. You
Yeah.
guys really need to just get out, just put yourself out there.
Oh yeah.
If you believe in yourself, you put it out there and you continue to believe in yourself. If somebody calls you out and says, "Hey, that was bad," don't take it to heart as far as feeling bad for yourself. When somebody says, "Hey, that was bad," and you know they're a reputable person, like
Mm-hmm.
if Big or um, Derek or um, Alan, like Poker,
Yeah.
any of these guys, Johnny Dotson, any of them, if they see something that you put out there and they're like, "Hey, that was not good," you don't need to highlight that because it actually wasn't even done right. Don't take it to heart and go, "Man, I suck." Like if Johnny Dotson said that to you, you don't do that. You immediately when he says it, you reach back out to him and say, "Hey, call me or private message me and say, hey, if that wasn't right, what did I do wrong? How can
Yeah.
I fix that?
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, how can
Yeah.
I fix that? Hey, Johnny, how can I fix that? Hey, Alan, how can I fix that?
Mm-hmm.
Greg, how can I fix that? Johnny, all of them, me,
Yeah.
fix that.
Yeah.
And if you come at it like that, 9 times out of 10, one of us guys that have been around the block will
Oh yeah.
say, hey, either you do it like this and do it right, or if you can't do it right like this, you just take it out and don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, you're going to get a response because us guys are going to know you actually care enough to say, you know what, I'm not right. I'm not all that. I'd still need to learn. How did I do this wrong? Tell
Yeah.
me. One of us guys will tell you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a Fort Knox of information. We
Mm-hmm.
all wrestling. We all
Yeah.
want to wrestling. We all want wrestling to be good. So we're gonna tell you what to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Yeah. Well, John, we're going to slowly wind this down. We've been on here for almost 2 hours, hour 45 minutes.
I thought we were doing 4 hours today.
Uh, no.
I got a song. I got a song planned and everything. We're not doing. We're
Maybe
not.
next time, John. Maybe next time.
We're not doing the song. I told you that before I came into the room.
Yeah, I know. We kind of went long with
I wanted
this.
to do the song.
I'm sorry, John. We can't do the song.
You know the song.
I can't even remember what the song you're talking about is.
Yeah. Now you're acting like. Yeah. Now you're learning how to work, kid.
Yeah.
Good job. See what I did there?
Yeah.
You had to work that quick.
Yeah.
You're healing.
Yeah. I
You're
mean, doesn't account for that I've been in the business for almost 11 years also, though. So,
No, I just taught you all of it in like 10
yeah.
seconds, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the
But,
detail. Hey, let me say this.
okay.
When it comes to psychology, there's always one thing that can be done better. I don't care if you have a perfect match. There's always one thing in I'm better. Sorry.
You're kind of going in and out on me a little bit. Still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know if it's my internet, your internet, but anything like that. But yeah, you were kind of going in and out a little bit there.
All right.
Um,
So did you have a last topic, or what did you want to talk about?
well, so like I tell people, watching you, I've been watching you for since like mid 2000s, late 2000s, stuff like that, and I can probably say there's not even a handful of times that I've seen you not wrestle without knee braces. And I know, kind of a little bit of a sensitive topic, but you've had major knee surgery here recently. So why don't you give the good people your knee update, and tell us what you're up to nowadays.
Well, I had we'll go back a year and a half, 2 years ago. Actually, I had a back surgery, and
Okay.
then
Yeah.
I started coming out of that and doing a little bit better and getting around better and working and getting back on my feet. And then I slipped and fell, and my ACL had been torn off the bone probably majority of my career, 15, 16, 17 years. That I had no ACL. So I was doing all
Mm,
those things talking about with no
yeah.
ACL. And
Yeah.
you have to teach yourself how to properly
Yeah.
do ring to do it. I had to reteach myself how to do it properly second time. Anyways,
Yeah.
so I had the surgery. They went in to fix the ACL. It turned into ACL, MCL, PCL. 30% of my meniscus taken out, 2 screws put in. So I am back on my feet now, walking without crutches. I'm back at work. I have
Okay.
my day, and for the most part, I'm happy and blessed to be able to get around. But I'm still struggling, to do
Yeah.
certain things. Um, but I am in a way better place now, than I
Okay.
was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
but I had
So
several people supported. They did the
yeah.
benefit there. Some of my
Hmm.
buddies came in clutch.
Yeah. I was there for it.
Gunnar Lane,
Yeah.
Greg definitely came in clutch.
Hmm.
I said earlier when we started the podcast, he's been right there beside me the whole time, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah.
My boys, BLS, I can't say nothing, you know, nothing more for my boys, Black Label Society,
Yeah.
Jason Peter Rose and AJ Bradley and Christian Jacobs. They were all whatever. You know,
Oh yeah.
wait, oh, you need this? Okay, we got you. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, I didn't see you at the benefit, but I sent you this.
Hmm.
Take care of yourself. Checking
Yeah.
in on. There's several people have checked on me, and I'm very
Hmm.
grateful. I guess it just I don't really ever put myself over, but I guess it's a testament of me not judging anybody. And if somebody's standing there that wants to learn something, I'm always there to help. I think that's a
Yeah.
testament to that people actually want to help back whenever somebody needs something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm very grateful. Gonna get there. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm gonna get there, and I'm very grateful for the wrestling community because wrestling is its own animal, and
Hmm.
I'm be happy that I am just a flash in a pan.
Oh, I think you got a couple more left in you.
Nah,
Nah.
no matches, but I'm not gonna say there's not gonna be moments because if I gotta
Yeah.
walk with a cane or something, I
Hmm.
can stand beside somebody new and
Yeah.
hand them a
Yeah.
cane.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Whatever. We're definitely hoping that you make your return back to Dyersburg Wrestling here very soon. Kind of missing the Dyersburg branch manager right now.
We'll get
You know.
there. I'm a vibe in itself, but
Yeah.
once I'm comfortable with standing in a ring, it's
Yeah.
just the ring. It's look right now. It's just the ring, like how the
Yeah.
ring. That's all it is. So
Yeah, getting in and out and stuff like that.
I'll take care of business.
Oh yeah, always. Well, John, is there any final words, parting words you want to say to the great people of watching this podcast?
Well, not really. I mean, if there's something you want, in this life, you got to believe in yourself first. If you believe in yourself, you can do it. That's basically that's all you got. So you
Yeah.
go with that's basically the only advice I can give you.
All righty then. Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on here with me. We had a really good 2 hour, almost 2 hour podcast.
Yeah.
Got to learn the life and career of Jon Michael. Like I said, we hope to see you back in Dyersburg here pretty very soon. Well, brother, I'm guessing I'm gonna finish this out. Hope to talk to you again here real soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, then,
Every week,
brother. See.
Saturday night, Pro Wrestling Mid South, Dyersburg, Tennessee, 1827 St. John. Be there, 7:30 bell time, baby.
All right, John. See you later.
Okay, we know.
Okay. All right, brother. Talk to you later.
All right, man.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Episode 2 of the Mid-South Wrestling Center podcast is in the books with the trendsetter, Jon Michael. Don't forget, next Sunday at 2 p.m., we have another veteran of the business. 1/3 of the legendary Mid-South tag team, Naughty by Nature's Poker Face, will be in the house. Hope everybody can tune in live on our Facebook page and YouTube channel next Sunday at 2 p.m. Everybody have themselves a great rest of your day.